Good afternoon, everyone. Softball Grandpa here. It is February 9th, 2026. You know, it's 45 years ago today that I broke my big toe. You know why I know that? Because it was February 9th, 1971, the day of the Silmar earthquake. And we didn't go to school that day. And my younger brother and I were playing soccer in the front yard with a basketball. We didn't have a soccer ball, so we decided to use a basketball barefooted. What a dummy. For my older brother, I got you this. What is it? It is, can you see it? It was Carl Spooner. It was a Brooklyn Dodger. I don't know who it was, but my daughter found it yesterday when she was dusting. Everybody knows. I did buy a set of gloves. I did go to urgent care today, and here's a report. They did an X-ray, and it turns out I have a fracture at the base of the first distal phalanx. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but I thought he just had a sliver, and they stuck a needle in there and numbed me up with lidocaine and dug around, and the X-ray was negative. I don't want to run over Hawkeye. Oh, by the way, check it out. This is one of the chairs I refinished. That's one of the chairs. They used to look kind of like that, but in worse condition. And it rolls pretty good too. Anyway, sorry for the camera moving. Dogs are around. Oh yeah, so I'm at Ace Hardware, and I bought they sell pies at Ace Hardware. And so I walk by this thing every day, all the time, and I bought an apple cobbler pie. It took 1 hour and 40 minutes to cook. It smelled really good. Well, I am a Giants fan, but I'm also an Angel fan. I've had this cup a long time. And probably when Mike Trout got signed. Probably as long before Albert Pujols retired from the Angels. Oh yeah, so this is the bat I was talking about. This year, baby. This year. What year was this? 2014. So in 12 years, we need another one of these. So anyway, that's enough out of that. Awareness. I wasn't aware when I hurt my thumb. And we should be aware of everything around here. People, places, and things, and conditions. Maybe conditions is a thing. The weather. If like I told my daughter yesterday when driving home. It's amateur night with drunk drivers. So I asked her to be careful, and I also asked her to text me. And she never texts me. And by the way, my grandson left his sweatshirt on my dining room chair. So if he's a little chilly today, you know where your sweatshirt's at. That's what being aware too. When we were kids, we probably weren't too aware. And speaking of kids, I became aware that I had to become my own being when it was in 1960. And the reason I know it was in 1960, I was 5 years old. The reason I know this, when my parents went to go get the new 1960 Plymouth station wagon, I wanted to go to the car dealer with them. And I was playing on the north side of the house, and I came around the corner, and I see them leave, and we lived 3 houses from the corner. And I saw them leave, and then turn the corner onto Lower Azusa. And I saw and that's the first time I probably said the F word, and I said, this is a bunch of crap, and I said, well, I got to take care of myself. My 5 years old, and I had the awareness, well, Rich, you're all alone, you got to take care of yourself. You don't rely on somebody else for your happiness, because it ain't going to happen, Maybe if you go to the circus, you want to laugh and see the clowns or something. Oh, by the way, if you ever go in Vegas, go to Treasure Island. They have this thing called Mystere Cirque du Soleil. Boy, those people are amazing. They put on a great show. But talk about awareness again. When I became aware, I was 5 years old. My parents, I had two sisters and three brothers, so there's 6 kids. And I remember living in the front bedroom. So there must have been 4 of us. That's why they had to go get a station wagon because, when Melissa was born, Melissa probably was just born. How are they going to get 6 kids in a car plus 2 adults? It'd be pretty crowded and going to church. I think they took shifts to go to church. I think we didn't all go until we got the station wagon. We didn't all go together. Okay, you go to the early mass, we'll go to the later mass. But getting back to my childhood, at 5 years old, I say, I'm on my own, And before that, my first blackout, there's a section of time that I do not remember, and I do send these videos to my brothers and my sisters, but there was a time probably before I was 5 years old. My dad was working on the black and white TV, and me and my oldest brother were playing with my ball. I had my own ball, and we were playing catch. And my next older brother, right above me, he decided to take my ball. Well, he wouldn't give it back to me, so my older brother says, "Oh, stab him in the eye with a screwdriver." It sounded like a good idea to me at the time, and so I did. Damn near killed him. I guess it came like a quarter inch from his eye. But he had it was a Phillips screwdriver. All through childhood, he had a little T right there, and a scar. And I guess, it missed all the optical cords. I guess I had, pretty lucky. But I don't remember nothing after what had happened after that. I don't even remember doing it. I think it was such a horrific scene that, who knows if I got my ass beat or what, but I don't remember nothing, to this day. And that's another thing, my mind, I can remember things just like it's yesterday. But other things, there's a section of time, probably because of the drugs and stuff that I don't have I don't really have an idea. Oh, FYI too, just so you know, I did not work in the garage at all today because I'm taking care of this, And I did go to Ace Hardware and I did buy this, so I'll do some tinkering tomorrow. I'm gonna do clean some. I bought a new hose. I'll put that together, and when I got home, wasn't even late for I was late for the meeting. It was too late to go to the noon meeting, so. It is what it is. 8 minutes, and I'd ask every one of you if this is helpful to any one of you. God, I'm really glad, and you can forward this to anybody, and I would, It's there to me. It's therapeutic, So keep coming back. It works if you work it, But it's just like the same old saying. My dad, there's a song by Ozark Mountain Daredevils. You're just like my mama said, you only live till you're dead, And so you got to give and give and give, or sing and sing and sing. And like my dad, he said, it's in your heart, not your head. It's in your heart, not your head. My pointer's is dyslexic, evidently. Is there a dog in here? Where are the dogs? Oh, here comes Hawkeye. Hawkeye is as good as 2 minutes of 2 minutes of shame or 2 minutes of fame. Huh? What you got? Anything good? He has something good. Yeah. My daughter says when they bend down like that, they're like saluting us and stuff. So, people in Oklahoma, hang in there. It's a minute at a time, a day at a time, an hour at a time, a month at a time. No, don't do a month at a time. Just do a day at a time. When I first got clean and sober, my mind, I had a folk looking at one tile, be listening in the meetings because my brain would be going, roo, roo, roo. Thank God, after this many years, it has slowed down. I'm still nuts. I think everybody's nuts. And, but with that, if you have any thoughts or suggestions, and because I'm still trying to do a chronology of my childhood, I gave you a little bit. That was probably a bad stuff, well, it's not bad stuff. It's life, and our struggles. If we didn't struggle, we want to be challenged, and we would, I think. A good problem, understanding the problem is more important than the solution. That's a quote from Albert Einstein, and I love that. I love that quote. Understanding the problem is more important than the solution, and because sometimes, when you think about it, and then the problem shared is a problem cut in half, Do I have any problems today? Yeah, probably, that I'm aware of. Well, that's why we're talking about awareness, but anyway, do something for somebody else for fun or for free because you want to, with no expectation in return. I think I feed the dogs and I just have I expect them to poop in the yard, but Henry didn't even eat breakfast this morning, so I thought I would talk with him. God bless. I'll see you tomorrow.